Hello everyone, Pallytime here with TGN.TV. This is the continuation of my series where I drop all of the knowledge bombs that you need to know about the Elder Scrolls Online. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the dungeons in ESO. Now, please keep in mind that the game is in a closed beta test state right now, and that beta test is under a very strict NDA. What's an NDA? It basically means that you can't share any information about what you're testing, you can't share any media about what you're testing with the public. So, there's a limited amount of information about the dungeons that are going to be in the game. We have to go off what developers have said in the past, but trust me, even though there's a limited amount of information, it's very, very encouraging information. The Elder Scrolls Online will feature both public and instanced dungeons. Public dungeons are not separated from the regular world via instancing and allow for organic cooperation, grouping, and even competition between players. The important thing to note from that last sentence is it is not instanced, it's just a dungeon. It's a dungeon like any other dungeon you've seen in Skyrim. Potentially anyone can walk into it and anyone can walk out of it. At any time, there could be more than one group fighting their way down to the depths of the dungeon, and you may encounter them. Now, public dungeons are excellent for, quote, providing drive-by social experiences with new players by facilitating spontaneous group formation with fellow gamers. That's a lot of fancy words for if you want to do the dungeon, just go to the dungeon and potentially there's some way that you will be grouped up with other people looking to do the dungeon at the same time. Now, most small public dungeons will be located throughout the world, and they'll provide a significant challenge for a solo player, but will be comfortably clearable with a small group. There are a large number of public dungeons within the region of Cyrodiil as well, though, and as we know, Cyrodiil is going to be the main focus for the PvP conflict in this game. Now, dungeons will be no exception to that PvP conflict. The public dungeons in Cyrodiil will combine the exciting PvE storylines with the challenging and danger of encountering hostile players in PvP. So if you're running down with your group, your faction, and you see another faction in this dungeon, there is nothing stopping you from potentially steamrolling over these guys in the middle of their dungeon clear and taking over where they left off. That's pretty exciting stuff. Instance dungeons will also exist. These are areas where you can only see the group that you entered with. These instance dungeons will deliver a more contained, story-driven experience for a group of players. So what are instance dungeons? Basically think of any dungeon from World of Warcraft. The only people that are going to be inside that dungeon are the people that you joined with. Now, ESO will feature 16 4-man instance dungeons at the launch, in addition to its public dungeons. So there's going to be a huge amount of PvE content as far as going through and clearing out these dungeons, and that's so exciting because I'm a PvE player. I love doing dungeons, I love doing raids, and they are making sure that there are going to be plenty to enjoy when you're playing through the game. Now, on the first run through of these instances, you will experience a full story. You're going to be sucked into the lore of what this place has to offer. But if you decide to go back to run that dungeon again, you're going to have the option to bypass the story content if you so desire. In-game PvE will feature heroic modes of each of these instanced dungeons, which are more than just a difficult version of the same content. The heroic dungeons extend the story of the normal mode version by adding a climactic and challenging in-game experience. In addition, the game has large raids that pit multiple groups of players against powerful and iconic bosses. In addition, ZeniMax is also working to develop a, quote, mega dungeon. They like using that mega word in this game's development, don't they? But this dungeon is going to be reminiscent of Darkness Falls in Dark Age of Camelot. Basically, it's a dungeon where, depending on the current reigning faction in the world, in the PvP world, that will determine who will be able to enter this dungeon. So as I said, guys, not a lot of information known to the public right now. We don't know a lot of specifics about these dungeons. We just know kind of how they're going to work and that there's going to be a lot of them. So just some personal insight here. I was a progression raider in the good old World of Warcraft for quite a long time, and I am a sucker for PvE content. I love going into dungeons with friends and clearing them out. And this system sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. It honestly sounds a little bit refreshing. Anyone who's played EverQuest 2 has kind of experienced the public dungeon kind of feel before. Though most of those dungeons weren't instanced off, and you could just kind of go in and you never really knew who was going to be in there. It made it a lot more exciting, and I really can't wait to experience that in Elder Scrolls Online as well. But alright guys, that's it for me today. I hope you guys enjoyed today's topic. If you did, please be sure to hit the thumbs up button and, let your voice be heard down in the comments. We've had some interesting discussions and a lot of, lol, this game sucks. Look how slow the combat is. I don't understand basic editing premises. I'm sorry, I got a little too personal there. But as always, guys, if you're new to this channel, I encourage you to subscribe. Thank you all for watching. Okay, bye.